What's up, Buttercups? It's me, Amy Young. I'm coming at you with a Friday freestyle. And I wanted to chat today about the concept of settling, because it's something that's been coming up a lot in conversations I'm having with clients and friends, and it's a very polarizing topic. And if you are someone who is, for better or worse, not in the business of settling, if you want a life that's not just B+, but A+, this video is for you. Because, spoiler alert, that is not the easier path in my personal experience. Like, people can say what they want to say, right? That like, oh, like living a life that you don't want to be living, and like just taking a job for the security and the benefits, or settling in a relationship that like doesn't work for you, but it works. Like, fuck, I could never do that, man. It would fucking kill me. I don't know who this impression of is of. It's like a bro who read too much Tim Ferriss early in life. People can say what they want to say, right? That like settling is death. But if that was really true, then most people would not be settling. Most people would be choosing the other path, which is like making decisions on your own terms and living a life that fuels you and fulfills you, even if it's untraditional, even if it doesn't meet society standards, even if it doesn't make sense to your family or your friends. Most people would be carving their own path and making those hard choices and those decisions, and figuring out what the fuck that looks like, not settling. Like, how do they do that for themselves? But most people don't choose that. If you look around, the vast majority of individuals seem to be okay with the concept of settling to some degree. And I think it's important to recognize that settling is in the eye of the beholder, right? So like, you might have a friend in your life who's making decisions that you don't get, or who seems to be satisfied in a job even though it's not what she really wants, or she's getting married to a guy even though you're like, what the fuck is this? Maybe her making those choices, that's what works for her. Maybe to you it's settling, maybe to her it's living her best life. Maybe that's what works for her, and that's completely fine. We're not gonna worry about her, we're gonna worry about you. But we're not gonna worry about you because you know what you want. And it's not B-, it's not C+, might not even be B+. You really, really want to do something special and extraordinary with your time here on Earth. Whether it's in the way that you love, and in the depth of connections that you create with others, whether it is pursuing something that is valuable and meaningful to you, that you have some level of passion for, making it your life's work to solve a specific problem that you know you cannot solve in your lifetime, but you're gonna chip away at it with a tiny little hammer. You wanna have some kind of impact, you wanna be of service, you wanna do something that's bigger, that's unconventional, and other people in your life right now, people that you know, do not really understand that. Like, they aren't 100% on board because they don't really get it. And they're probably questioning you and a little bit confused, or maybe they're even just outright mean and make fun of these pipe dreamy things that you want to do. What I want you to recognize and realize is that nobody else has to get your decisions but you. And that's ultimately what not settling is really about. Like, that's where the rubber meets the road. If you were born into this life, okay, so we're all born into this life, right? And society, wherever you are, whatever your culture is or your family unit, there's been this little round hole that's been carved out for you, right? This little round hole that says this is what you will do and this is what your path will look like, and jump through these hoops and check these boxes, and that's gonna be your life. Now, this little round hole, most people can fit pretty comfortably into that round hole. That's like the status quo. For most people, it suits them just fine. But you've been aware for a while, or something woke you up to the fact that, fuck, you're a square peg. You're a square peg. And probably for a good portion of your life, you attempted to jam yourself into that round hole to satisfy society, parents, your friends, a job description, a relationship that you were in. You were trying to fucking make it work, but square pegs don't fit in round holes, right? Square pegs need to go and find a different square-shaped hole that they can fit themselves into. And square-shaped holes are very hard to come by because we don't necessarily see a lot of examples of them. But you know, what we do see everywhere is round holes and little round pegs that have fit themselves into those round holes, and they're completely satisfied with that. So square pegs are individuals who cannot settle. Whether they want to or not, it's not in their nature. It's not what we do. We're not satisfied with the status quo. We suck at jumping through hoops. We don't like answering to other people. We don't want our lives to look like anybody else's. You don't want to have just some like B+ existence. You don't want to ignore that voice inside of you that says you were made for more, life can be better, you deserve better, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. That's the sound of a square peg kind of existence. And very often in our lives when we are a square peg, we're looking at all these little round pegs to like validate and understand where we're coming from. And they're not going to, because that's not their reality. Their reality is we're round pegs, we fit into round holes. Be satisfied with that. Be comfortable with that. That's their nature. That's how they were built. That's what works for them. How lovely and wonderful for them. We wish them nothing but the best. We support them in their round pegness. That's fine that that's the choice that they've made, or that that's what they want for themselves, or that's how they're wired. It works for them, cool. It doesn't have to work for you. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else but you. And if you know you were not built to settle, then you have to look in the mirror and accept, I'm a fucking square peg. I'm gonna have to go out and find some other square pegs so that I can make sense of my shape and how I came forward into existence. Because I would really, really argue that you cannot, you cannot live a life that's on your own terms completely by yourself. Like, you don't need everybody else who is okay with settling or just okay with convention or tradition or the norm or the status quo. You don't need them to be on your team and validating your decisions, but you do need other people who can understand and validate your decisions to some degree. Like, if you are a business owner or a wannabe business owner, you need to meet some people who are in that camp. If you're a single woman who is refusing to fucking settle, even though everybody's putting the heat on you to just get a goddamn ring on the finger and pop out some babies, but you're not in a rush, you need a supportive tribe of single women who get you, who are like, oh yeah, honey, I'm not settling either. If you want to be an artist, it really pays to know some other artists. And I get messages all the time from people who are like, I don't know where to find those people, Amy. Like, they don't exist. They don't exist in my family. They don't exist. I come from a sea of settlers. Everybody settles as far as the eye can see. And I want you to know that it starts first and foremost with stop trying to fucking fit in with all the goddamn round pegs around. And owning the fact, I don't want to settle. I don't agree with everything that everyone is preaching at me or telling me that I should do. It starts with not trying to conform to those standards and recognizing, I think I'm a square peg. Because square pegs can recognize each other, but you have to be showing up that way. And when you start accepting that about yourself and you start realizing I was not built to settle, that's okay, that's great, maybe that's a wonderful thing. There are other people who are also not built to settle. Let's support each other and find each other and cheer each other on. That's where we start getting the inspiration to go out and connect and to start conversations with the right people. And we bump into other square pegs in crazy, miraculous ways. And you get inspired to Google search a meetup group for your specific brand of square peg. Or you go to the weird singles event so you can meet other square peg singles who are just like you. But it always, always, always starts with just accepting, I think this is how I'm built. I think this is who I am. I think I have to accept this. Nobody else has to get it but you. So, big takeaways. Number one, we're not here to judge anybody else's life path or what they've chosen. Other people are gonna do what works for them. It's your job to do what works for you. You don't need anybody else to be on board with it. Number 2, it is very, very hard not to settle if you're surrounded by people who are telling you that you should or telling you that it's a-okay. That might work for them, it's not gonna work for you. So you need to accept those are going to be people in your life. They might not be your core people who are going to be able to support you in the tough decisions that come with not settling, because it is tough. And number 3, accept your beautiful square pegness. Accept that you were not built to fucking fit in. Fitting in is fucking overrated. It's like, Jesus, why is everyone so simultaneously obsessed with like fitting in but also standing out? Like, just accept you're different. Just accept you don't have to look like anybody else. You don't have to think like anybody else. You don't have to want what anybody else wants. You don't. Diversity is a magical, beautiful thing. It makes the world go round. So own what is special and unique about you, and don't try and cram yourself into all these other people's little round hole situations. It's uncomfortable to do that. Very uncomfortable. And I'm here, babe, I'm like Mama Square Peg, you guys. I am like, welcome to the island of misfit toys, you guys. We maybe were made to fit in. All right, we were maybe made to like do our own thing and do it the way that we want to do it, and that's great. So happy that we could find each other. If you like this video, hey, why not subscribe to my channel? Maybe share it with someone who you think could use it at this particular point in time. If you want to learn more about me and my work in the world, you can click the link in the description box and go to amyyoungcoaching.com, enter your email. You'll get regular email updates from me. Other than that, I just hope you're having a great day, night, week, you know, wherever you are. And I support you entirely, and I'm standing in your corner and I'm cheering you on like a mad woman. And until next time, I'll see ya.